Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Mikey, and as always, rolling with me, my boy Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back Friday Night Lights, man. It's been a minute. But we told y'all we were taking a little break, little siesta, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, Mikey, I had myself a nice little break because I won 11,000 on that Super Bowl.
I know. Yeah. I watched the stream.
Yeah. On a $5 bet, Mikey. Like, man, Mikey, you don't understand. Like, that was I thought I won 1880. I thought it was much needed too. Yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise. But I thought I won 1880, and I was freaking out because that's all. I would have been happy with anything, you know.
Yeah.
And as I'm scrolling through, I'm like, hold on, wait, did I just win $11,000? And yes, dude, it just but yeah, I got out of debt and I'm breathing now and I'm much better. But I did say some things at the end there saying, you know, Patrick Mahomes was my second favorite quarterback. I think I could take that back now. I was in the moment, okay? I didn't truly mean that. But at the moment, I was super happy, and Mahomes was the man at the time. So, but yeah, man, it was unbelievable. And Spin was there. A couple people witnessed it, and awesome, Mikey. It was just awesome. So, I guess we'll start there, the Super Bowl, because I didn't really get to talk to you. I know you were on the chat for a little bit. So let's start with the Super Bowl, and then we'll start with the Buffalo, and then we'll go with the Buffalo Bills. So tell me, Mikey, Super Bowl. Your thoughts, everything that, how the game went.
Okay, my thoughts.
Yeah.
The 49ers choked it away. Those are my thoughts.
Absolutely.
But here's the deal, Patrick. You can't give Patrick Mahomes any inch. He'll take the whole thing from you. He's a killer. Listen, they didn't win because of Patrick Mahomes. I truly believe they won because of that defense. However, that doesn't change the fact that you can't give that guy any amount of space. When you're up on him and you have a chance to get the kill shot, you have to go for it. And Shanahan will stop running the ball in the second half, and he let him back in. They are who we thought they were.
Absolutely. Real quick, some super chats, Jason. Let's go. Thank you so much for the super chat. And by the way, I know Spin is saying, we're done being lazy. We are. And we did. So, by the way, when you win that big, Mikey, I won actually over 11. I almost won 12,000, something like that. But anyways, they took out taxes. They took out almost $2,300 in taxes. So, they do it automatically. So what I got was about 9K. But I won over 11K. So it is what it is. At least I didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, they tax you if you win a certain amount of money. But hey, whatever. 9K for a $5 bet. I'll take it all day. Spin, Mikey. I think we agree that Tom needs to start super chatting me from now on. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm out. Listen, honestly though, Mikey, I'm being dead honest. I am down to like $50. Like I paid off all my debt, bro. Like that's honestly, good. Like I did everything the right way. The only thing I bought, Mikey, I'll be honest with, like splurged on, is I bought a Purple Pillow, which that company $165 for a pillow.
Oh yeah, those purple pillows.
Yeah, very expensive. But I gotta say, slept like a baby, man. Slept great. So this is my really splurge. And I put a little in stock, a little in Tesla. So that was it. But yes, so speaking of the Super Bowl, you are right. I thought the 49ers absolutely blew that game. That is their head coach, Shannon. That's his third time blowing it in a Super Bowl. As offensive coordinator, he did it. He did it with the Falcons, and he did it twice with the 49ers now.
Yeah.
Listen, man, they went away from the run in the second half. I thought that was I don't understand what was going on there. You need to run the ball more. You have one of the most dynamic players in Christian McCaffrey, who was playing just fine in the first half. You went away from him. You basically let Purdy have control, like basically put the ball in his hand, like him just run the whole second half. Big mistake.
How'd that work out for you?
Yep. Kansas City ate it all up second half. And you cannot give Mahomes any time on the clock. Right when they scored that field goal in overtime, Mikey,
it was over.
It was over. It was over. And I think all of America probably felt the same way. So, and I got to say, the Buffalo Bills Chiefs games, even though they beat us for the most part, we give them the most fits. We
do.
We take them down to the motherfucking wire. And I feel like they manhandled Baltimore. I felt like they manhandled San Francisco in the second half. Like I felt like our game would have been just as we could have handled those games as well. I really do believe that, but it is woulda, coulda, shoulda, and we are sitting here not.
But we didn't,
and we didn't, and that's why they are who they are. And by the way, real quick, they went out and signed Matt Ariza. And not that listen, that's not I saw a lot of people are like, who cares, the punter. To me, it's not about that. To me, it's just the Chiefs are continuing to show why they are Super Bowl champions. They go out and do little things like that get them to the next level. Yeah, it's just a punter that could change the course of a game by one punt.
He could also, he could also hurt because they're losing Tommy Townsend, and he's an all-pro punter.
He's a great punter, true.
And although Matt Rice has a big leg, he also doesn't have a lot of hang time. And he's never done it in a game. So it's a big gamble if that's who they're going to go with next year.
But it's also he has plenty of time, and he's on a cheap deal from what I heard.
1 year deal.
1 year deal. So worst case, doesn't work out. Let's say, bro, there's plenty. We know that. We got freaking Matt Hawk waiting in the wings if we needed it. You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying, but I just feel like those are the kind of moves you make. Like, why not? Those are the kind of moves that you can make and the Chiefs make.
I just think it's a smart decision. It could backfire. See, I think it's a smart decision if they bring Tommy Townsend back and they let them battle it out. Because Tommy Townsend saved them multiple times on field goals with bad snaps that he got down for Butker.
That's true.
Matt Ariza is a unknown. He has one preseason game in his back pocket because he never held in college either.
I get that, but he also did good enough to win the job. Wasn't like he was really close down to the decision.
But we don't know what he would have been.
We don't. But we could say that. We could say that for a lot of punters though, coming out of college. I mean, you know what I mean. I'm just saying. Like, I just also feel like he's the kind of kicker that you also don't get. You don't see often. You can't get a kicker kicking 80 yards or 70. You know what I mean? Changing the course of a game with one punt. You know what I mean? Like, that's unbelievable, especially in January. Like, we talked about it in our game when we had Sam Martin, who averaged, by the way, 39 yards, 28th in the league. We paid him big money. Like, what do we do now? You know what I mean? Do we get another punt? Absolutely get rid of him. But
Tommy Townsend?
Fine. I don't even know about that. I think draft another undrafted punter in late rounds like you did Matt Ariza. Have him compete. Same thing. He's not going to be a Matt Ariza. I'm not saying, there's a UDFAs. There's plenty of punters.
There's
you
Troy
get late.
Taylor.
We got 10 picks. You can get it. You get a
the punter from Iowa. That's pretty good. I think his name's Troy Taylor. And then there's one from, I want to say Texas A&M. That's pretty good. But those are the only two that are even somewhat draftable this year that I know of.
Okay. I mean, we got 10 picks, right? They're all not going to work out. So I'm just saying, I feel like we definitely need to address, even though it's not the biggest room thing we need to address on this team. But we definitely do. We definitely do. But yeah, good. But my point is, though, good for Matariza, good for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I hope it works out for him.
I hope it doesn't. I hope he does well, except when he plays against us and he chokes.
Yeah. But of course, he's going to play against us and do unbelievable. That's just the way
he's coming to Buffalo next year if he's their punter.
I know.
I want to hit Scott hit us with $1.99. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Best Bills content on YouTube. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that's in the chat. So let's get into the chat and see what people are talking about.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, McKay comes in and says, finally freaking Friday. You know, right? I have an interview on Monday. I'm excited. Like I've been
new
off,
job offer potentially for Mikey.
Yeah, I've been off since the beginning of the year, so I'm excited about maybe actually going back to work. You know, so that'd be kind of cool. You know, at least we can thank the Swifties for the sour cap boost.
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
You know,
you got a good point.
Listen, we went from -54 to -41. So just what that does is that gives you like 12. I think it's like $12 or $13 million is the difference that it went up. So what that tells you is you can either still continue kind of down. I don't know if you watched Cover One's recap. They did a whole thing, or Joe Marino had Greg on and he did it on Joe Marino's page too. They kind of went through like the levers that Brandon B could pull and how we can get that money. One of the biggest one is Stephon Diggs. We can redo Stephon Diggs' deal and kick money down the line and free up $13 million. Or now that this has happened, we can leave Stephon Diggs as is, still make all the moves and get under like $30 million. So we can still make some moves and not touch Stephon, and then at the end of next year have options with him where it's not like, okay, you don't have a choice but to keep him on this team.
Right.
So, there's pros and cons to all of it. Brandon Beane and his team is much smarter than all of us. And if we can find money in the banana stand, so can they.
Absolutely. The title here, right, is why the Bills 2024 offseason is crucial in the McBeane era. I honestly feel, I don't know about you, but I obviously made the title, but I honestly feel this offseason to date is the most important, biggest offseason in the McBeane era, I think, because a lot has happened. A lot of pieces are gone. We're losing players in retirement now, right? And Micah Hyde, Jordan Phillips, right? Players are the defense that they tried to build throughout the years is mainly gone in free agency. There's just a lot of holes that need to be filled with not a lot of money, even though the cap's been raised. And I just feel like the window it's not closed, but it's definitely starting to close a little bit, right? Like you need to make this, for me, this offseason is very important, especially in the draft. You got all those draft picks. You have to hit on, I think, at least half, right? You got 10, or at least make it work where you're trading up to get what you want, where a piece that's really, that they feel is going to work in the NFL. Like, so that's what I feel, man. I just feel like this is the most important, because if they fuck this up this offseason, Mikey, it's going to be a rough season for the Buffalo Bills in 2024. So I'm just saying it's going to be rough.
Well, here's the thing: the defense
on the defensive side of the ball.
On the defense side of the ball, it's changed anyways.
Yeah.
We have a complete turnover on the defensive coaching staff. Like they're all gone. From 2 years ago, there's not a single position coach left that's there. Now that Babich became the DC, everyone else is all brand new over the last 2 years. So they're they've changed a lot of stuff, and now they're replacing a bunch of guys on the defensive line. Yeah. We'll be looking at some depth linebackers. We'll be looking at depth in the secondary. Our corners are pretty much the same. We'll need a new starting safety now that Micah is gone. we have four defensive linemen. So we have Ed Oliver, the only D tackle. We have Eli Anku, but he hasn't never really done anything. And then we have Rousseau and Vaughn.
Vaughn's a question mark. Let's be real. Even though he shouldn't be, but he is. I don't even know idea.
And
what
then
we're
we
gonna get
have
out of
Kinsley
him.
Jonathan, and he hasn't had much time. So there's a lot
and even with Poyer, Mikey, who's on his last year deal. I mean, we really got to start considering who's his replacement. Is it going to be in this year's draft or next year? I'm telling you, this defense, it's not concerning, but we are going to be super young, is my point, going into this coming up season. And they really need to hit these players in the draft and on the defense and these 1-year contracts, because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot. They better hit. They better hit like they hit a few last year in Leonard Floyd, Taylor Rapp, like guys like that can actually provide something on the 1-year deals while we're still in the process of almost not a rebuild of the defense, but kind of.
It's kind of a rebuild.
You know what I mean?
Retool.
Right.
It's a retool of the defense.
Right. I mean,
because we're retooling our front seven.
And Trey White, right? Like we don't even know what's happening quite yet there. What do they do there? So I'm just saying, like, this offseason for me is very crucial and the next step, like where we're going in 2024. And by the way, somebody said, Roy, come on, Tommy, what's wrong with I watch other, that, right? Like, so I watch a ton of other content. I'm just saying during this little break that we did, honestly, I just, I didn't watch much of any kind of Bills content.
I didn't
kind of just
I caught Joe Marino a lot. I caught Greg's Sour Cap special because they do such a good job over there on breaking that stuff down.
Yeah.
But, those were like the main two that I caught. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot of. I spent a lot of time with my family during this little break we had. Rob comes in, but before we hit Rob's question, going back to what we were saying when we were talking about, we have 10 of 11 starters on offense coming back though. So I don't think,
offense is fine.
When the window's closing, I don't think our window's closing at all.
No, no. See, that's what I'm saying though, Mike. I didn't mean the windows, but I do believe it's starting to close some. I don't think it's totally closed or even halfway closed. I just feel like if they don't get it right on defense this year with the players that they're going to go in the draft, everything that you're doing this offseason, that this 2024 season could be bad. Meaning that's where
on
the window
defense,
is.
But not on offense.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want a bad defense going in 2024, and then you're going to have to retool for 2025 and cut those players, or those players are practice squad guys. Like you're kind of now going through the motions again of finding guys to fit the role, right? Like for instance, Terrell Bernard. Terrell Bernard wasn't put in a position where he needed to go in right away, right? So you had Edmonds for a couple years while Bernard was here, right? So he was waiting in the wings, or at least a year. So he had the opportunity to sit back, not have to play right away. These rookies, these guys coming in this year, I feel like a lot of these guys are going to hit the field running right away. Like they have no choice, especially on the line. If we don't bring back guys like, on the defensive tackle, right, position, especially Daquan Jones. Let's say we don't bring back Jones. Now you got to sign a new DT. Is it going to be a veteran or is it going to be a rookie who starts day one? So I'm just saying, and not only that, now you got Bobby Babich who's taking over as defensive coordinator. So it's going to be a fresh kind of a defense with new players taking on new roles. And if it doesn't work out, is what I'm saying, Mikey, the window is starting to close there because now you have to revamp again in 2025 for the guys you didn't make a mistake on.
Every year.
Not really. We haven't had that, but we haven't had that. Not really. So if you think about it, right, Mikey,
we've go back in time for our defensive line every year.
But we haven't had to retool this massively. So 2017, we've had Poyer and Hyde here since 2017. We haven't had to do shit in corner. I'm just saying safeties. Cornerback, Trey White's been here now up until he got hurt, right? We've had Matt Milano here for the longest time, who's been a star up until he's getting injured. But my point is we've had the same guys for a long time now. Ed Oliver has been on the team for a while now. Like, now there has been some plug and fills, but not a lot, right? That's the whole thing. Look, for me, I feel like this team was a group of guys that have been together for a long time. And now it's kind of not.
Hyde. The only one that's going to leave is Hyde.
Well, no. Right, so Daquan's gone officially for now. So he's resigned.
Daquan was only a 2-year deal. So he
I get that, but
those fill-in guys.
I get it, but he's still gone, right? Micah Hyde's gone. Trey White, we don't know yet. We don't know. I'm just saying he's still on the team, but we don't know. And then who else? And then you got Rasul, right? Rasul Douglas, who's very new to the team. He's back, but I'm just saying he's new. He's still kind of a newbie. But yeah, I still feel like. And then who else we lost? We still got Milano. Now do we re-slice? Sorry, Lawson, Jordan Phillips is gone. AJ Epinesa is gone. Who else we losing? Somebody else.
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd's gone now, right? So I'm just saying there's a lot of defensive pieces.
Yeah, but a lot of those defensive pieces
and Poyer's on his last year.
Yeah, so
as well.
I get what you're saying. I don't think it's a huge
offense.
We're getting back. We're getting back Milano. We're getting back Bernard. Trey will be coming back if they keep him. If not, that's fine.
Right.
Because we still have Benford. We still have Benford, and we have Douglas, and we have Elam, and we have Poyer most likely who will stay. So we do need a new safety because we also have Cam Lewis and DeMar Hamlin coming back. Dane Jackson's leaving.
Well, is DeMar coming back?
Yeah, he's still on contract.
I know, but does he make the? I mean, he almost. There's questions last year if he made the team. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm just saying, like, Cam Lewis, for instance, would he be like? My point is this. So Jordan, listen, Jordan Poyer's on his last leg. We know that it's probably his last year, right? We more than likely they're going to have to replace both safeties. They're going to have to replace Hyde's right this year, no doubt. They're going to have to find that fit. And they're going to have to find Poyer's replacement. Now, it may not. Now, the good thing about that is you may not have to get it this year.
Yep.
You could get it in next year's draft. But I would prefer for them to try to find his replacement this year and kind of have him under the wing of a Poyer. Kind of, you know what I mean? As sit back and see.
They could do that. They could draft two. We have 10 picks. Now I don't think we're going to use all 10 picks. I think we're going to move around in the draft to get guys. I think in free agency you're going to see some secondary guys come in.
Absolutely.
I think but I'd like to see us draft a safety or so because Poyer's going to be. I'm pretty sure Poyer's back. They're not going to want to replace the entire secondary.
I think he definitely will come back for his final year.
Yeah, me too.
I would like to actually see Rapp back for a 1-year deal. Like I have a feeling like we will see certain guys maybe back. Like you said, I think
Daquan's coming back. I really do. I really think Daquan's going to come back. Unless he gets a big offer elsewhere. But he's been hurt both of the last 2 years in Buffalo.
But that's that's kind of scares me too.
But then you go into the draft and you get back instead of signing veteran backups, you go get rookie backups. You have Daquan and Ed as your starters, and you go draft some rookie defensive linemen to come in and back them up.
I think
that can grow into starters.
I think you need to go young on the defense, start drafting. I think you need to rebuild.
I do too. I think you need to go wide receiver, round 1, and then spend most of the rest of the draft capital on defense.
Yes, absolutely. I'm with you there. Like we don't always agree, but I am with you there. I think
Jason's
receivers have definitely
Douglas is trying to get his buddy to come from the Packers. Yeah, that's Darnell Savage.
I heard that
Savage is a beast. He's also a center fielder type. So there's a few guys out there in free agency. I wouldn't mind seeing us go out.
I think you'll see. I think you'll see some cut. I think if they're smart, they go ahead and do some cuts. They cut what's his name, Naeem Hines. I feel like they should cut Hardy. You save some money there, about 9, I think. And then you can get guys like that on a 2-year deal, right? You can get another, like I think we had, we signed like Hardy do 2-year. I could see like a couple guys getting a 2-year deal, Mikey, a 1-year deal. But I think you're going to see a lot of 1-2-year deals in free agency, veteran type players. But I do want to see one sort of splash signing. Like I don't want, now that the cap went up a little bit, now that they understand what pieces they can maneuver, to make some room, extra room to sign a person that can move the needle, a player that can move the needle. And you know who I want, obviously. I've been saying it for a long time. I want Derrick Henry. I feel like Derrick Henry is.
I just don't think they're going to put that kind of money.
I don't think so either. I agree, but I don't think it's a crazy amount of money for a guy that moves the needle and a guy that can really make a difference on this roster, especially on offense. Offense, now we've been talking about defense for the last 15 minutes, but offense is what's really, what we need to improve, because if we would have had a better offense against the Chiefs, let's be real, and didn't have so many players not stepping up, especially in the receiving department and even running back. James Cook didn't have a great game. Things might have been different. We're going to have another shootout, especially with a young defense going into 2024, regardless if we hit on them or not. It's not going to be a perfect defense. It's not going to be a veteran defense like we've had in years past, right? So I'm just saying, I think we need to bolster that offense. We need guys like Derrick Henry who can move the needle. I don't think it's going to happen. I agree with you, but I think it would be a relatively decent, kind of a cheaper deal for a guy that can move the needle. And I think it's a smart decision to make, but that's me, and if they don't, then draft one. I just can't go in. I don't want to go in this season, Mikey, with James Cook and a running back they draft that's the same as James Cook, undersized.
You want a bruiser.
I want a bruiser.
So we don't have to use Josh inside the red zone. He's been our big back. I would like to not have to use him.
I want to
like to get
upgrades. Running back.
I want upgrades over, Hardy and Sherfield.
Absolutely.
If you want to bring in a veteran, and then go out and draft one or two receivers in the draft and spend the rest of it on those, fine. That's fine. Like offensive line, we're good. I'd like to see us bring back Edwards if possible, because I thought he was great as depth. Plus he did a good job on the third tight end. I wouldn't mind seeing a bigger back. Henry, I'd be okay with Henry. If as long as we're not paying him, $9 million a year.
I don't think he'll get that kind of money on the market. I just don't. I think running backs right now are underpaid. But by the way, too, we do need a center. I think I think they have a decision to make with Bates. I think if they keep Bates and that's their ultimate goal is to make him the future center, then fine. Maybe you don't need to draft one, but
get up there in age.
No, exactly.
He's been a backup for the last 3 years.
Right. So what do you, and maybe he wants to go be a starter somewhere. Maybe he doesn't want to continue to be this type of player where he's a depth kind of guy waiting in the wing. But I feel like that's another position that they need to, take care of in the draft. I felt like they missed out last year on a couple guys. So what do you think, Mikey?
We do have Anderson.
Alec
Anderson, who's in that Bates mold.
I think last year they kind of dropped the ball. There was a guy, who was the guy's name, Mikey, from Ohio State that I really liked?
Josh Myers?
No, the center.
No. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name though.
He's a starter now, I think, right?
Yeah.
For Cleveland or something?
No, he was a backup in Cleveland.
Okay. But he's going to be, I think, a future star, right? That's their goal for him. He's really good. I forget his damn name.
He's in Cleveland though. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan. I think they have like four or five centers this year that are going to be pretty good.
Yeah. You think we trade up, by the way? You think he uses some of this 50,000 6-round picks that he has, pile it up, and you think he's
I don't want to see us trade up in round one. I don't want us to move up in round one because it costs us a 4th round every time we do that.
Third, 4th round.
Yeah. Creed
that
Humphrey,
was a while back.
God.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs, yeah. We messed that one up.
Yeah, we did. For Boogie Basham.
Yep.
Making me want to throw up every time I think about it. Because I was screaming for him. I was also screaming for Dylan Parham when we got Bernard. So, I obviously don't always know what the hell I'm talking about.
Sometimes, exactly. Sometimes we're wrong. It happens.
Yep. It does. There's like 4 or 5 really good centers coming out this year. The kid from Oregon's probably going to go in the first. That guy's just a monster. But then you have the one from Georgia, and you have a couple others. Like there's one from Michigan. That's it's probably a mid-round guy. I I think there's 3 that's day 1, day 2, and then there's 2 that are day 3 that could be something. Although I don't think Mitch Morse is going anywhere. I think Mitch Morse is probably gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he signs a extension because he's only 30.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they decide they want to do that. But I do think we're going to move up. But I don't think we're going to move up in the first round. I think we're going to move up in either in the second or in the third, and we're going to move around that way, or in the fourth. I think he's going to move around up and back in this draft. So I want us to go younger on defense. I would like us to spend. I don't think we're going to have all 10 picks. I really don't. I think we're going to probably walk away with about 7. I think we're going to use 2 picks to, and I would like to see us get a wide receiver or 2 and then spend the other 5 on defense, young defensive guys. But I don't want to see us grabbing corners late. Like we do that every year, and then the guy doesn't play on our team. How about invest in the defensive line? Start grabbing some late defensive linemen and start grooming those guys, not just corners and linebackers, So, that's just my take on it. Someone asked earlier, if you had to choose between AJ or Floyd, who are you bringing back?
I would bring back Floyd. Just because I just don't think I know he tailed off a little bit there, but I still think
we have one sack in the last 6 games.
I know, but I get it. But that I still think he could provide. Remember, though, I will say this too, though.
Okay,
he was also had a lot of reps, snap counts, because Vaughn was, obviously not.
He had the least amount of snap counts that he's had in his career this last year since his.
No, I get it. But I'm saying, though, he still had, I feel like if Vaughn's back and he had a more of a lesser, role snap count, I feel like he still can provide 8 sacks, which I'll take all day. We just don't have those type of guys right now on the team. So, yeah, I think now AJ Epinesa is young. He had 6.5, right? He's younger, right? He can't, but he also. He didn't do great at the end either. I thought he started really good. I thought his first half of the season was really, really impressive.
He went down after he jacked up his ribs against KC.
Yeah, exactly. And that could have been injury, no doubt. But I think, though, that he earned a contract. I don't think the Bills are going to sign him. I think Leonard Floyd, he might have earned a contract too, but maybe teams might stay more away from Floyd because of his age and do more of a lesser deal, like a short-term deal. Than AJ Epinesa, who's younger, has more of an upside because of his age. You know what I mean? So
if I had to choose one,
I think Floyd would be a cheaper 1 or 2 year deal. I'm just saying than Epinesa.
If you're looking short term and being always looking 2 years out, you sign Floyd. He's the more impact player. If you're looking long term, you sign Epinesa.
Yeah, I'm with that. But it's Epinesa. You feel like Epinesa would be your starting edge. Like you feel like he would ever.
I think Epinesa would start opposite of Rousseau, and then Vaughn would rotate in.
I would.
Epinesa was a really good run defender and batted a ton of balls down in the last 2 years.
He did, but I don't think he would be a top sack guy in the NFL. I just don't feel that.
No, I didn't say he's gonna be a top sack guy. I said he's gonna.
No, I know, but I want I like his role. When he was here,
supposed to be our sack guy.
He is, and he has not, and he has not taken the step that I thought he would take, especially last season. No doubt about it. I thought he did okay. I didn't think he played bad, but I feel like this team, Mikey, one thing that we fail to do year after year, and Floyd started good, but like you said, he tailed off at the end there, was get to the quarterback, not just pressure the quarterback. Get to him, and we just haven't had a guy, that is a consistent, 12 sacks, 13. Like it's just not. I'm hoping we find right, and we need that, Mikey. We need it, and if we can find it in the draft, great. If we can find it in free agency, maybe the following season when we get some money, but. I get it, but there's a lot of guys that do too. I mean, we got to find it. I mean, you can't just give up and just say, fuck it, AJ Epinesa. No, I'm just saying, but there is guys out there that could do it. You can find the guy, you could draft the guy. That's my mission. I just don't feel like Epinesa is I feel like Epinesa is perfect for the role he plays, which is a depth guy, comes in certain certain downs. I think he's perfect for that. But as an everyday starter on the edge, I wouldn't feel comfortable with him giving him a big 4 or 5 year deal.
Unless we're going to change our philosophy, our edge guys
That's
are
true.
4 deep. And
You
it's just
right.
a rotation. It's not like you just have 2 starters that
You're
are
right.
out there for 80% of the snaps. So
Yeah, that's
having
true.
AJ one of the 4 would be fine with me. Whether he's the starter or the backup, that doesn't really matter to me all that much.
That's true, unless you find, but if you've had a dynamic edge, trust me when I tell you, that guy would be on the field probably more than what we're used to seeing with our other edges when they're rotating in and out. You get what I'm saying? You couldn't, like, McDermott would not be able to take a guy out that is that dynamic. Like, if he had Micah Parsons on the team,
but he's not. Was dynamic.
He
was first year, and he was out a ton.
Yeah, but I also feel
Bills
like
rotate more than most even on offense. How many times did Stephon Diggs leave the field? He's our most dynamic receiver.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. I just feel like that would be a mistake. I feel like that's a mistake. The top edge rushers in this game don't. Even Vaughn kind of said that when he first signed here. Remember, he's like, I don't know about the whole, that rotation thing. Now, of course, he probably liked it because of his age. But if you got like a guy like a TJ Watt, or or
they play 90% of the game,
Micah Parsons, I get it, but they want to eat. They want their numbers.
They actually play 90%,
and they also make plays, and they also do turnovers.
Buffalo doesn't have that, and it's not that they don't have that. They don't even look for that type of player as much.
Yeah,
that's not their philosophy.
I think maybe Bobby Babbitt's changing it, but maybe will McDermott still have his hand in the
Oh, he's gonna have his hands in the cookie jar. It's his team. He's gonna have his hand in the cookie jar. Just know that.
Right.
I want to hit on Daniel's comment. He says Benford was a 6th-round pick, RCB2. Jackson was a 7th. Levi Wallace was a UDFA. Bills find good cornerbacks late in the rounds. But when most of these guys were picked, it was earlier on in our build. Right now, our CB room, say we keep Trey, our CB room is completely full. Why are we drafting another CB who won't even be on our roster that's just going to get selected? The last 2 years, we've had guys pulled off of our practice squad that we drafted that played for other teams.
Right.
Why aren't we looking at that from a defensive line and starting to invest there? That's all I was saying. It's not that they can't find good guys. I believe they can find corners anywhere.
You think Dane resigns, by the way?
And Buffalo.
I think
Dane's gonna get himself a decent contract.
Somewhere, yeah.
Because where's he gonna fit?
I agree.
Unless Trey's gone, and then we have an opening.
I think Trey is such a big question mark, man. I think he is the most interesting off-season thing to watch for, Mikey. I really, because of the contract and the injuries, bro. Devastating injuries, right? These aren't just Terrell Bernard type ankle sprain, season ending. What are you gonna get? And you're talking about big money, and now you got a guy in Rasul Douglas who you got to also rework his deal out, right? What do you do there? Now you also got Christian Benford, who's been getting better in the position since you drafted him. So it's such a But if you get rid of him, what if Trey goes on another team and Trey is Trey and Trey balls out, and then we made that mistake. So man, it's a real interesting thing what they do. I'm really curious what they do with Trey White. If Trey White comes back on the same deal, if he reworks his deal out,
or do they,
or they just axe him, right?
Yeah.
Very curious.
I just can't see the Bills, releasing him. That just doesn't seem like their type of culture.
I agree with that too. Right.
I could see us going to him and asking him to rework his deal, to bring things up to, move some, games played into unlikely to be earned incentives that kick the can down the road a little bit. I can see us doing that. But who knows? We'll have to find out. I love Trigger's comment here.
Crazy.
Tavondre Sweat is a monster. If we took Tavondre Sweat at 28, I would not be mad. But he's about the only guy that I wouldn't be mad if we pass on a wide receiver
instead of receiver. Yeah,
because that guy is like 6'3", 360 and powerful. He's the one tech we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I want to listen. There's a lot of receivers in this draft. So I get that, and I agree with you there. If he's there to be taken, I probably would pull the trigger as well. Not only that, if he's there to be taken, you have so many draft picks that you can trade up if you want a receiver that's slipped into the second round and you feel like you need to trade up to get. You have a lot of draft capital to move up to get that guy. We've done it multiple times. So Bean is not afraid to trade up. And I wouldn't hate that move either, but I definitely want a receiver in round 1 or 2. It has to be. You have to find your guy. You cannot keep playing this game of 1 year Trent Sherfield, Deontay Hart. You got to find your guy. Like, this is it, man. Not only that, we don't know when Diggs
grow and take over Stefan's job.
Exactly, because we don't know how long this could be Diggs' last season with us. I mean, me and Mikey were talking about it prior to coming on. It really is a possibility. And would I be even mad about it? Honestly, at this point, I probably wouldn't care. Like, he's just not. I think he's going to ball. I think he's going to still do his thing on the football field every Sunday, but I just feel like his passion and love for the team is come and gone.
I think he has 2 years left with us. I really do. And it really depends on if we touch his contract or not, as to how much longer he's going to be with us.
Yeah, that's true.
If we don't touch his contract, there are outs next year. There's still a little bit. And, if we were to move on from him next year, it'd probably be a post June 1, so we could split that dead cap. But if we move his deal this year, then you are looking at it. You need those game breakers. I agree with Whiteout when he comes in and says this. The difference between us and the Chiefs is we get out-coached, out-schemed every year. Like this year, like offensively, we were fine. Like I know we did the best against the Chiefs from an offensive standpoint.
But we could have done better. We've made mistakes that we didn't have.
We dropped balls. We dropped a ton of balls.
Exactly. That's my point. If we had more
better
more players that were better, right? Even Cook wasn't reliable. I'm talking about reliable options other than Josh Allen just doing whatever he can to make it happen. You can't continue to go on like that because the results usually are what we see, and that's us out of the playoffs. That's just the way it goes. Like, our coach is not good enough to get these other guys. Like the Chiefs have other guys step up that aren't big time guys. Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid knows how to scheme. He knows what player strengths, weaknesses.
Does Spags.
And we did not, right? Right. So exactly. And we do not, right? That's where we fail every single time. So we need to, I felt like if we had those type of players, we could have put up more points than we did for sure. Touchdowns would have been on the board instead of field goals. I'm telling you, drop passes over and over. Like, it's a killer,
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Like we would have
defensively, no matter what,
more points. Right. Defensively, I think the injuries came back to bite us at the end. Like, call it what you want on defense. Like we were running, linebacker 4 and 5 on our team.
Bro, yes. Listen, Andy Reid, I think any good coach really would have attacked us there at our week. Obviously, right? He attacked us right in the middle of the line. I agree with it, and I don't blame him, right? But I'm talking about our offensive side of the ball. We did as much as we can. It wasn't good enough. But if we had weapons, if Josh actually had other guys that were stepping up other than Khalil Shakir, the game could have been much different.
Yeah.
Right? We could have scored 30-something points, and the Chiefs only scored 27.
Not only that, the Shakir thing, we keep losing Kincaid in the game. Like, we go away from him. We need to find a way to do a better job of keeping him involved in the games.
And I think you will see that in year 2.
Me too.
And I think we, I'll be honest with you, Mikey, when we started the season in 2023, I hate to say it, but I remember talking to you about this, and we said it probably is going to happen this year with Kincaid. Like how Kincaid's season went is exactly what I thought, guys. I thought he was going to
better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, I agree. But in a way, it didn't surprise me. Like, I knew that they were still going to try to find this role, and Ken Dorsey was going to, and it was trying to do his 12 personnel, and it just was, and he was still going through his rookie thing, struggles a little bit at times. But I think year 2, and I said it when we said it actually, is where you'll start seeing the real growth in Dalton Kincaid's game. And now that Brady's going to have this complete offseason to go, okay, I know what this dude can do. I know what Dawson Knox can do. How do we make this work and fit both in the offensive scheme?
And not only just Brady. Brady brought in some of his own guys.
Right, position coaches. Absolutely.
So he's taking ownership of that offense. So now we're going to see, he's going to say, okay, well, I'm not running Daboll's or Dorsey's offense. This is going to be my offense.
Yes.
You know,
and
yeah. So I'm excited
Matter
about
of fact,
that.
Brandon Beane, which I love that he addressed it, by the way, his final press conference of the 2023 season, said it. I mean, he said as he just said, that he was like, hey, if I was a GM and I got hired in the middle of the draft, and I'm going to have to go with what's on the board.
Yep.
I can't just go start racing shit and make my own. So he's like, Joe Brady was put in kind of an awkward, tough position. It wasn't like he could just redo it. He had to go with what
the best
was in front of him.
He could.
He made the best that he had. Exactly. So he was like, look, and I knew right then, by the way, because he kind of slipped up a little bit, because he said, if you go back and watch that press, it's so funny. He's like, oh, when Joe Brady comes back, he'll have his own off, he'll have time. And that was before we even re-signed him, because I knew Joe Brady. We all knew, but they're not supposed to. They're supposed to do the whole. But I knew right there, yeah, they're fucking, Joe Brady's coming back. But I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, obviously. And yeah, man, like I'm glad he brought his own cast in that can help him. And yeah, let's see what he does, man. But yeah, definitely. I'm excited for some of the weapons we still have. Obviously, I still think Diggs, even though his heart's not with the team, I still think he will be Stephon Diggs. He still will put up his numbers. I think Khalil Shakir is going to get better and get more involved in the offense as well. I think Dalton Kincaid is going to take a step forward. So we have playmakers. I just feel like we still need that true number 2.
We need that speed,
maybe
that deep dive.
And we need a deep, exactly.
And speaking of that,
got to take over one. Yeah.
Let me hit on Triggs' comment. He says, I see the Bills taking Brian Thompson Jr. in the 2nd or 3rd round. Brian Thompson Jr. is not going to be available in the 2nd and 3rd round.
Brian Thompson,
yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to be gone in the top 20. I don't think he makes it out of.
That's my next video I'm doing, actually, my draft profile. So somebody asked me to do that. I will do that. I like him. I'll be honest with you. But I still think Keon Coleman is the guy for me over Brian Thomas.
Triggs if you were to choose, don't give me Keon Coleman at all.
He's not. They're two. Listen, Kelvin Benjamin is a way more stockier, heavier set receiver. Keon Coleman is very
more athletic. He's way more athletic.
Yes,
he doesn't have separation, but that could be because he also had. This was his first year with FSU. He had just come over from Michigan State.
Right.
He was more basketball than football. He dedicated to football last year. It could be just a teaching thing for the separation as well. Because I don't think he's slow. He's not. I went back and watched some of his tapes after Tommy was raving about him. I'm like, okay, let me go back and take a fresh look at him. And I did. I don't think he is the elite tier of these receivers, but I think because he's more raw than most of these guys. I think he's probably wide receiver 6. On my board, because I think it goes Harrison, Neighbors, Odunze, Franklin, Thomas Jr., and then into the Keon Coleman's, 80 Mitchell. Is they're in that same tier. I would prefer Franklin personally. He's 6'3", 190, blazing fast, great hands, body control. I think he'd be ideal in the wide receiver 2 that has a chance to grow into one, or Brian Thomas Jr. I would love him. If we had to go with Keon Coleman, I wouldn't want to go Keon Coleman in round 1. I would like us to move back and take Keon Coleman in round 2 if we were going to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing when 6'4", was it 220? He right now, Keon Coleman for me, what stands out the most is he is arguably the best 50-50 ball in there. He can catch pretty much anything that's thrown his way in the air. I'm talking about high point. He does not. He has great hands. That's when what do we not have?
But
he
also has concentration chops.
I get it, but he's still. If you're throwing it up there,
he tracks the ball really well.
He tracks the ball very well.
That's what we didn't have last year, guys who tracked the ball.
Right. And we also led the league in drop percentage. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there. Now, yes, I feel like his speed is okay. You know what though? I am interested to see how the combine. Yeah, I am interested to see how the combine goes because things could change.
Yep.
Guys bust their ass, prepare for the combine. His speed could be a lot different than what we saw in college, and surprise you.
He wasn't slow. He wasn't slow in college.
He's not slow. I think he runs like a 4.5, something like that. But we'll see what happens in the combine. Ran. Yeah, that's fine. And I think his route running could improve a little bit. But he was only in college 2 years. He only had 2 seasons, Michigan State and FSU. So his numbers weren't off the charts both years, but he's definitely a guy with, I think, a high ceiling. Somebody actually said, I saw a scouting report, his high ceiling could be like a T. Higgins, and low, I forget who the low was. But shit, if he hit T. Higgins, I'd take it all fucking day. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? Like, so.
But, yeah, I mean, T has some warts to his game as well. Like, everybody has warts to their games at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Trick Simpson says, I would sign Juwan Jennings, who's a reliable. I would love to sign Juwan Jennings from the 49ers. Problem is he's a restricted free agent, and I don't think the 49ers are going to let him out of the building because he's restricted. They can, do you want to give up a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Jennings and have to pay him? I don't. Weston comes in and says, Chiefs play chess, everyone else plays checkers. Yeah, but you guys have 2 or 3 chess masters on your team. You have the GM, then you have Andy Reid and Spags. You have 3 chess masters. That's why they're playing chess.
Yeah.
Listen, I have no hate for what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. It's irritating, but it's they're freaking good, man. And I love what their GM does because he drafts young guys, and Spags and Andy Reid put them out there. Let them make the mistakes in the regular season. Like they lost, They actually lost games this year because they were playing rookies who dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, those rookies made the catches.
Not only that, they weren't afraid to let guys go like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And said, you know what? We still can win.
Tommy Townsend. They just signed Ariza, a young kid. They're like, okay, we're gonna shave $4 million off this salary cap and go with a young kid.
Exactly. Because we still feel like even if they don't stop, we're still that. As long as we have these guys in place, and these certain players, Patrick Mahomes, there is a chance that they can get back to the Super Bowl. It's annoying, like Mikey said, but bro, I don't know what to tell you.
Because there's a difference. Like, I didn't respect the Patriots dynasty. They got caught cheating so much.
Absolutely,
it was hard to respect.
Right,
that,
I agree with you. Yeah.
Andy Reid is so likable. Like Tom Brady wasn't likable. Gronk wasn't likable. Like Andy Reid is a likable guy. Spags is a likable guy. I don't
know about Kelsey anymore, but
I mean, he's honestly, I didn't have a problem with it. He got caught up, and he came out and said he was wrong and owned up.
He was wrong.
He didn't make excuses for it.
He's lucky that wasn't I get it, but he's lucky, boy. He's lucky that wasn't exactly. That wasn't, because I'm telling you that was like Bill Belichick, or if that was Mike Singletary, Vrabel. I'm talking about like a Ditka. They would have they would have got up in his grill. It would have been a mess.
Those guys aren't, Andy Reid was off balance, which is why it looked so bad.
He was a roly-poly guy. He absolutely was. Yeah, because he would, when I went back and looked, it wasn't a hard shove. It was kind of like he almost just got in his face and kind of just nudged him, and he kind of just tumbled a little bit. Yeah, it was still funny as shit, though.
Veach misses too. The thing about it is Veach keeps taking swings. That's what you love about what your GM is doing. And he's taking swings on young guys, not veterans. The Bills have been in the veteran boat for years. Every year. Like, you guys took the swing on Tony. It worked out the first year. It backfired on him this year.
Right.
You know what?
Absolutely.
You had one Super Bowl for taking that swing. You took it. You know what? You guys took the swing on letting a lot of your young guys go. Javarius Ward left. Tyrann Mathieu left. You know, you guys went and brought in a bunch, Frank Clark left. You know, you guys drafted a bunch of young guys.
That's what we
swing.
Exactly. That's what we don't do. That's a great point, Mike. I'm glad you brought it. McDermott has McDermott guys, and I fucking hate that.
Veterans.
These fucking guys that don't do anything, that just sit back and collect. I can't take it, man. Like, we've done this over and over every year since McDermott's been here. Like I said, we're not going to keep going down that road, but McDermott, like, I don't get it. Like, it's and it bites us every time, Mikey. It bites us every time with some of these deals, these contracts, some of these guys that are wasting roster spaces for other players
the Butlers and the Trent Murphys.
Yes. And go on and on and on. Like, will we keep Sam Martin, who, hopefully not. Like, it says you can clearly tell that dude is done. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe they won't. They got rid of Hack. I'll give them credit that one year, when we did draft Riza. But we'll see, man. I hope they do the right thing this year, man, and cut some ties.
Robert, you're 100% right. I probably would have chosen Spags. If I was looking from a defensive guy as my head coach, I probably would have went with Spags over Quinn as well. Spags is so underrated. Yeah. He had a really bad, here's the problem with Spags. He had a really bad head coach debut, which a lot of guys do. And they just don't get that second chance. Like, I would have hired Spags over Raheem Morris. I thought Raheem Morris was great with LA. But if I was picking a defensive coordinator to be my head coach,
absolutely,
Spags is a genius, dude. He's so good defensively.
Yeah.
Lou Anarumo, the same way for the Bengals. Had a really bad rookie showing as a head coach, so he's been pigeonholed back into defense. Like, those guys are just, maybe they're better defensive coordinators than head coaches. Maybe they're better coordinators.
That's true. I mean, that it could vary there, and that's been the case with a lot of head coaches that they wind up going back to being coordinators. Just it is what it is.
McDermott is our money shot night for the 90s. Ouch. God,
could be. Could be.
We don't wait as long.
We're in year 8, guy. Year 8, man. I hope it works, man. I don't know what to say anymore. Like I said, I've done all my complaining. I won't do another video on why it's time to go.
We've already said our piece about McDermott.
Yeah, I
at this point, I hope he proves me wrong and he can bring home a Lombardi. But I don't have that much faith in him to do it. He's going to be here until after our new stadium opens, regardless.
Absolutely.
So no point in wasting our breath at this point.
Yeah, I will give him credit for at least stepping back and letting Babbage take over as TC. Like, I really didn't see that happening.
Out of the room and letting letting the offense run. And,
Joe. So hopefully he continues that.
Yeah, what came out from that piece that came out on him?
Mm-hmm.
He took that to heart, and you saw changes in him down the stretch.
Absolutely, you did.
Saw him trusting his guys more. You saw the relationship between him and Allen got better. There's a lot of things.
I agree with that, and I think that we talked about that. I felt like that article, for as much as it was a hit piece, and it was, there was some truth in the article, and I think he understood that, and he had to change some. Now, did he change completely? No, he still made some stupid ass decisions that he normally makes every year, especially in crunch times. But hopefully, Mikey, this coming season, he learns from some of those mistakes, timeouts and clock management and the stuff that he continues to do over and over again. That drives me insane.
So this is the last year that we're in really bad salary cap hell. Which will make the moves to get out of it. But next year, we're on the positive side. The year after, we have a ton of cap room. So we have the ability to start sign. Like, if Bean wanted to go out and sign somebody, right? Like, go out and get a Mike Evans or, Derrick Henry, or say they had Greenyard, the D end out of Houston, who I think is just a stud.
Right.
If he wanted to go sign them and he wanted to sign them to a big deal, he could manipulate the cap to where it's a very low cap number this year and next year, and then push
rolls
it
it over.
So the Bills can do things, because here's the thing: it all comes down to what our owner's willing to pay. If they're cash over cap, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much money do you have up front to give the guy, and then you can play with the numbers. Every time we restructure, we're cutting a check to that guy right there. The numbers change down the line, but we're giving him basically his salary up front, and we're dropping it down to $1 million. We're cutting him a check. So Pagula does a really good job of allowing Beane to do things. It'll be interesting to see how they decide they want to maneuver this offseason. It's why I thought you titled this really, really well. It's crucial. Yeah. Now, I don't think it's crucial that we're gonna, if we don't, live up to it this year, and they make some mistakes.
That they're going to make mistakes. By the way.
We're gonna, it's gonna end us, and our window's gonna be completely closed.
No. I don't mean that.
I think Beane has an opportunity to plant seeds to take this team in a way the Chiefs are. Allen's still young enough to where if you hit on some of these young defensive players, that our offense, then next year we can go and start planting those seeds for the offense. And then you start playing with it. Like, the Chiefs are really good at that. Andy Reid's always been good at that, though. You go back and look at his days in Philly, he was good at planting those seeds on both sides of the ball with Howie Roseman.
I just feel like this year, this off season, for me at least, since Beane has taken over just as GM, I feel like this one here is probably, he has his plate's the fullest it's ever been. There's a lot that needs to be done with kind of not a lot to work with, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as far as the cap, right? So what do you do with Trey? What do how many players do you sign a free agency? Do you go out and get a Derrick Henry or a Mike Evans? Do you splurge a little? Do you stay true and only do 1-year deals? Do you keep all your draft picks and not trade up, trade back, trade down? Do you go with, I feel like there's a lot on his plate this year. What do you do with Poyer? Do you have Poyer come back for 1 more year? Like, there is a lot. Do you cut this guy? Do you cut that guy? Do you restructure this guy? Do you bring Daquan back?
That's every year.
No, it's every year, but I feel like this year, because of so many key guys are leaving that are key pieces, like Micah Hyde is a guy that Hyde's gone.
Key guys that could be leaving.
Okay,
because
Hyde is gone.
Because Hyde's gone. Daquan's expired. Trey could be gone.
Yeah.
But we don't know what Vaughn is.
I feel like Hyde's gone. I feel like Hyde is gone. His wife wrote the letter.
Yeah, I think
there's just no.
We talked about this in the season.
Yeah, he has
a young family. Yeah. And I would hate to see him come back and play and then have something seriously happen. And when you start talking about your neck, don't do it, dude. Just hang it up and go enjoy your family. And I love what he's done with us. Yeah, just enjoy retirement.
You got a new coordinator. No matter what, he's still a new coordinator, right? So now you got a coach. No, I know that, but he's still a new offense coordinator. He's going to build his own offense. His way now. It's not a Dave. No, I'm talking about Brady. So I'm saying, like, you're going in with a new season with a new coordinator, like a brand. It's going to be a new offense, is what I'm saying. So now you got to build around what Brady wants, right? Brady may want a different kind of player than what Ken Dorsey wanted last season in the draft. I'm just saying. So he has his plate full because he has a new defensive coordinator as well, even though Bobby Babbitt has been there a while, and it's still McDermott kind of, he's obviously, but I just feel like there's a lot going on this year. Not only that, and you just mentioned too, Von Miller. You don't know what Von Miller's bringing to the table, and unfortunately,
he's 35.
You're stuck with Von Miller for 1 more year. He ain't going nowhere. So what if like, in his head, he has to be, because he's a GM, he has to be thinking to himself, God damn, like, what Von am I getting this year? He doesn't know. He can't, right? Have a crystal ball and be like, oh, Von Miller's going to be the Von Miller we had in 2022. Like, does he get an edge in the draft? Like, he's going to have to draft an edge regardless. You know what I mean? Like now, who's his replacement?
I mean, he doesn't have to. I guess he could go out to the free agent market and find somebody.
He could get Floyd back. Maybe if Floyd's willing. I'm just saying.
He
but
could bring back AJ, bring back Shaq, and go with Rousseau, Shaq.
I think
AJ,
Shaq.
and Vaughn.
I think Shaq comes back. I do. I think Shaq is like one of those guys that's a Buffalo guy, and I don't even mind that. By the way, I don't. I felt like he played solid the last 2 seasons as a depth guy, rotational guy. Phillips is retiring. By the way, I'm almost pretty sure, and he's not coming back. And I wouldn't expect them to come back. And I
wouldn't want him.
His injuries.
I love him.
Right,
but he's been injured so much down the line.
Injured so much, and I felt like last year when he was healthy, he was kind of getting penalties and just doing dumb boneheaded mistakes. Just kind of playing a little awkward, like just doing dumb things. So I wouldn't want him back anyways, but I think he's gonna retire. I don't know. I just feel like this season is crucial for him. Like I said, he's not gonna nail everything. No GM does, but you have to get this draft. I feel like this draft is very important for me. You draft, because last year I felt like he traded back so many times and missed out on guys that could have been guys that helped this team, in my opinion. And he passed up on them to stockpile draft picks for this year. And he did it on clearly. So you better hit on them, or you better use them for capital to trade up to get a guy that's impactful.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Here's my thing, because Robert comes in and talks about this. He says, you know, Kincaid wouldn't have seen the field as much if Knox didn't get hurt. You're 100% right.
Absolutely.
I don't think McDermott's is afraid to win. I think McDermott's, if he doesn't trust you fully, he doesn't let guys go out and make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. He wants to trust you before he lets you go out there. Like Dorian Williams is the perfect example. If we would have let Dorian Williams play earlier in the season, when Milano and Bernard got hurt, it could have been Dorian Williams in there instead of Klein.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
But he didn't trust him because he made mistakes early, so it limits him.
Right.
It's just it's a fundamental philosophy that McDermott has. Unless he trusts you, you don't play. That's why
I was shocked when we started the 2023 season with Bernard at linebacker over Dotson, because I just thought that you're going to see typical McDermott go with the guy he trusts, and I credit him for making the right decision there, which was a shocker that he did. But yeah, man.
Cam Lewis is probably coming back. He seems like a McDermott guy. I wouldn't like to see him come back. I don't have anything against Cam. I think he's okay.
He's okay.
I would like to see us upgrade. Player. I think I'd like to see us upgrade.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad player, though. Honestly, if he came back, I want to hate it. You know what I mean? But I agree with you.
I'd like to see us
upgrading. I agree with that too. Same with Dane Jackson. Yeah. Like you can say what you want about Dane. Like a lot of people are like hating Dane. I thought Dane was okay.
Solid corner.
Yeah, I have no problem with Dane. I feel like his time is done here. That's all. And I feel like it's time to move on. Like I didn't even really have a problem with what's his name when he left for Pittsburgh, Levi Wallace. Oh, I really didn't. Like I know Mikey didn't like him, but I just felt like for a depth guy,
better version.
Dane absolutely is. He's a better version of him, but he's also drafted. Right, like he was a draft pick. Like Levi Wallace was a walk on.
Levi Wallace was in the early years of the Bills, and he outplayed his status.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely,
and he turned himself into a decent corner that got himself a contract, and I'd say good for him.
Good for him.
However,
absolutely,
he also cost us in the playoffs. So I've already buried the hatchet with the guy, so I'm not gonna bash him again. Right. But Dane was just solid. He wasn't the best, he wasn't the worst. He was a solid NFL corner. We had a better 1-2 when Benford and Rasul this year, so Dane was a solid 3.
Yep.
Let Dane. Now we have Elam, who's there. Like I have a feeling they're gonna give Elam a shot at being CB3, and possibly draft a guy.
This is his last go. Yeah.
You know, they changed the secondary coach because him and the coach didn't get along.
Right.
Like, you know, it's one of those things.
I wish they changed the special teams coach.
Me too.
That's another issue, by the way, guys. Heading in,
and they didn't change.
And they did nothing to address it. I'm curious who comes back on special teams too. If they wind up cutting some guys off special teams that are paid, because we have some guys that are paid on special teams.
Can't guard a crossing, a school crossing.
I thought he was all right. I didn't think he was that bad. I thought when he came in, he did okay. I never had a problem with him.
You know, does the same apply to McDermott? Like, I think, yeah. In big games, yeah. Listen, McDermott struggles in big games. His butt tightens in pressure situations
all the time.
I thought he was better this year than he has been in the past 6.
Down the stretch.
Yeah, down the stretch.
He wasn't that way before the hit.
After the piece came out, I thought he was better about trusting his guys.
Yes.
But still, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I can't bang too hard on McDermott in that Chiefs loss because he was playing with scraps.
I agree. Yeah, especially on defense. Defense. Defensively,
that's where we lost the game was on defense because we couldn't.
Yeah, we are fucked. We are fucked. Yeah, like there was no way. That's why I said we needed to win a shootout, and our offense had to have been almost not perfect, but dynamic.
And we
don't have a dynamic. Let's be real. Who's dynamic on the team?
Well, let's say what you want. Gabe Davis mix of catches.
I agree, but he wasn't there.
The Sherfield drop. Because
right.
You know, Gabe Davis doesn't do a lot of great things.
Unfortunately, right. And against the Chiefs,
he shows up.
But he wasn't there. But he was hurt, right? And Stephon Diggs didn't show up. He dropped a crucial, beautiful pass. You know what I mean? So we can go back and forth on this, but I'm just saying, in order to beat the Chiefs, in my opinion, I don't give a fuck any year.
You have to outscore
them. It's gonna be a shootout, and you better have your offense better be dynamic enough to win that shootout. That's all I'm saying. Because even if we get better, exactly. Because even if we get better on defense, Mikey, I'm just saying this year, let's say we find some good pieces going, and because I think we still will be. You know, I still respect McDermott's defense. I still think we're still going to be around that top 10-5 area during the season. It's the playoffs where the defense fades away. We need the offense to score in the 30. Like we need a dynamic offense.
But it's hard to do that against a really good defense.
I agree, but it's been done. If you go into the Chiefs, how do the Chiefs lose or get in close games? When other offenses are dynamic enough to match them point for point. Philadelphia took up to the. No, I'm just saying, Philly last year, the Philly in the Super Bowl, 38-35. I mean, it was a. Well, even this year,
they lost because their offense struggled.
You're right. That is true.
That's why they lost.
You are right. You are right. Even the Super Bowl, their offense wasn't on fire.
It wasn't great. The defense. Like, listen,
their defense is what kept them in the game. Absolutely, yeah.
It was clutch. It was clutch. Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey.
I agree.
And play calling and great defense is what beat the 49ers.
But if you have a great offense, I think a great offense can put some. Listen, for as great as their defense was, right, that you're talking about, what did we score on them in the playoffs?
24.
24. Okay, I mean, you know, and how many drop passes and how many bullshit that self-inflicted.
There was 4 drop passes, 3 crucial drops,
right,
and that were deep. Deep passes.
Nothing to do with their defense.
You know,
I'm talking about right. Crucial on us, right? That we caused it. Okay. How many games that we did last year, just saying, and just general, that we left points off the board because players were like James Cook dropping touchdown passes, or
just dropped a touchdown in every
like
game.
4 of them. Yeah, like 4 or 5, right? So that's my point. So we led the league in drop percentage. So how many points did we leave in yards? Just yards alone. In a game that we left off the board because players were dropping passes,
or Kincaid, throw a
Knox,
interception.
Yeah, right. Dave, right? Because he's trusting in Gabe's going one way and Gabe's going the other because Gabe's. I don't know what the hell was happening.
Not looking back at him,
right?
He's running.
That's my point. So I just feel like if we have a better offense this year coming up with guys that are on the same page, a more dynamic offense, a better running back to complement James Cook, a solid 1-2 punch, not a aging Murray. I feel like this offense can, beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, can put up more points, and get over that hump. But if we don't improve the offense and we continue to be an offense that struggles in the playoffs or struggles in close games and our players aren't stepping up and dropping passes, like, we'll never get over the hump, Mikey. It's never going to happen. You'd have to have a dynamic defense to do that. And this defense is not going to be dynamic enough to get us through, Mikey.
Yeah.
It has never.
Yep. No, I get what you're saying. That's why I want us to go wide receiver early. Get us those pass catchers.
I agree.
Get us a speedster, someone who can stretch the field.
Right.
Because right now everyone can come up because they don't have anybody who has super speed. Those safeties can play, 15 yards instead of 20 yards.
I think you need to start getting Kincaid going deeper.
Me too.
I mean, I'm not saying he's our speed guy, but he has some wheels for a tight end, and we didn't really do it much. We did it a little bit when Knox was out, but he's a weapon that we didn't really utilize much, especially deep. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's a dynamic. That's what I'm hoping next season.
Use him on those routes like we did towards the end, where we were running those deep crossers with him.
Right. Exactly.
He excelled in those.
Yep.
But again, Brady has all offseason to work that out, and
all offseason.
Amy comes in and says Oliver earned his extension already. I agree. Oliver played fantastic. He just disappeared against the Chiefs, but I don't think it's so much Oliver issue. Is Mahomes was getting the ball out quick to his wide open tight ends because the linebackers couldn't cover anybody. Bonus years ahead, loving the cap increase. We go from second most over the cap to last over the cap. Yeah, and that's because people started making cuts today. Like the Dolphins released Howard today and a couple other guys.
Did they release? No.
Yeah. Xavier Howard, X is
get the F out of here. I didn't even read that. See, it goes to show you that I've been on a break like Mike, even
like teams started cutting guys and they're bringing themselves because they have to be cap compliant by the 13th of March.
You got to do what you got to do. Yep. I mean, it sucks, but you got to, he's a hell of a player, but that's a smart move. I'll be honest with you, because he had a good contract and he was another player that was had a lot of injuries over the past 2 seasons. You got to look at the big picture. Yeah, that's probably why they cut him.
Yeah, and well, that and he had a high cap number.
That's what I mean, high cap, and he's been injured lately.
And, well, who we have a cornerback in our room that has the same problem.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Dallas comes in and says, "But here's the difference with X versus Trey. X had a high cap number when had a lot of savings. If we cut Trey, we save $6 million, but we have a $10 million dead cap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it really make sense to cut him? And it makes more sense to just go to him and renegotiate his contract and, bring, and keep him in there and let him try to get back to, because just to cut him to sit on $10 million makes 0 sense.
I'm shocked they haven't cut Hines and Hardy already. Like, I am shocked.
They're talking about bringing Hines back.
Like, what are you doing? Why? What are you, for what? A return guy at that paid?
I don't know.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm totally can't find a return guy in the fucking draft. Are you kidding me?
They can, here's the deal.
Can't use Shakir?
What Hines do you get? He's coming off an ACL.
I don't want Hines back. A good guy. I'm glad he had those awesome returns after tomorrow thing, but I'm good. I don't need to save your money. Let's get somebody. Like, come on. I'm good. And Hardy, I don't want to see back Hardy either.
If you cut those 2 guys, that's $9 million.
$9 million, bro. $9 million.
Give me that $9 million
And honestly, what do those guys do for us? Really nothing. So I'm good. I'm good with that.
Take that $9 million, add about $10 million more. Take the 9 that you're cutting from them and the 12 that we just got. Restructure Diggs and go get us Mike Evans.
Well, the thing with Mike though, he came out and said he wants to get paid.
Well,
like if you take the player saying that,
that's the 13. That's 23 a year.
Yeah, I mean that's boy. He better. I mean, that's a bit that I agree. Listen, I want to hate it, but then if you do that, then
They
that
won't do that
changes it.
because he's 30. He's
I
on
don't.
the wrong side of
I
30.
right.
Then you have
I
two
don't think
aging
so either.
receivers making
But
a
that
shit
would
ton of money.
totally exactly, and that would totally That would totally change the draft, in my opinion. Then the outlook on the draft as far as drafting a receiver early, because you just spent so much money capital on. I don't think you do, and you're right. The age, and he had a lot of drops last year. He had a lot of drops that was not like him, Mike Evans. So I don't think he's an unbelievable talent.
He won't get the targets that he got in Tampa Bay and Buffalo because Steph takes most of those targets.
Yeah. I just don't see him. I can't see it happening. That's just a lot of money.
Dallas. I don't think we would try for Evans. He's very high priced, and he's on 30. So you would have two aging receivers making 20 plus a year. I just don't see the Bills doing that.
No, they go. I think they finally go draft a receiver early. Yeah, that you have to. Like now is you drafted your quarterback round one.
That's a deep wide receiver class.
It's time to finally address the offense. Now they did it last year because somebody did call me out. I did a video. I'm like, they did it with Kincaid. I understand that, but Kincaid's a tight end. I'm talking about a true number 2 receiver that could be potentially our number 1, and that happens all the time, guys. We've done. If you go look out through the history of the Buffalo Bills, we've always had number 1 guys and drafted a number 2, and eventually became the number 1. I mean, Eric Moulds took over, for Andre Reed, and then Lee Evans came in and he filled in for Eric Moulds. Like that's just the way it goes. And Stevie Johnson took over. I think Lee Evans.
Diggs is going to be 31 this year.
Yeah.
Right? Going to be 31 this year. So. We need to draft the guy who's going to replace him down the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Robert comes and says Groot needs to step up big time this year, or Groot's in a borderline bust. Groot is not a bust. Groot's our best run defender, and he had 8 sacks this year. Like
he's not a bust.
He's quiet. He's not flashy at all.
Yeah.
He had he had a solid season. 1, he's our best run defender. 2, he still had 8 sacks, including he missed time with an injury.
And I still think he's learning on the job. I got to be honest with you. I think he's still.
He didn't learn. He didn't. He's what?
No, but I mean, he was young in college. He didn't have much experience in college.
He had 1 year in college.
Right.
Then he had a year off, and he was a safety in high school, so he didn't start playing DN until college.
Right.
Had 1 year, and then he came to the league, and he's going into year 3?
Year 3, yeah. I think he's going on year 3. So, but no, man. Listen, I expected a bigger step from him last year, but I don't think he took a step back. Like I always take to see what players. I think he took a baby step forward. I think he took a baby step forward, but I think he could be a lot better. I do. I still think his ceiling. I think he still has a high ceiling. But we'll see. But I don't think he's a bust. I don't think he's even close to being where you could say
hit 5 sacks.
A bust. By the way, there was people saying Ed Oliver last year was a bust. So got to be real careful when you throw that word out. And see the body of work.
Ed Oliver was the number 9 pick. So if he didn't hit he did this year, you want to use the bust, that's fine.
Yeah.
Groot was pick 29.
Right. Practically second round. Yeah, when you get there, you're almost talking about round 2.
That's what he's done in his career is not considered bust.
Right.
Usually when you talk about bust, you want to talk about bust is say Kyer never gets on the field, whether it's his fault or not. It's a bust of a pick because we never used him and we traded up. Not where he was picked. I don't want to call him a bust, but because we traded up to get him, it becomes a bust.
Right. Like Cody Ford was a bust because you traded up and you passed up on DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a bust. That's terrible. Because you lost draft capital.
Was a bust.
Boogie Basham was a terrible. Right. Bust.
Second
Absolutely.
Round pick, got traded before his 3rd year.
Right. Yeah.
They gave up on.
I agree. Yep. So there was and you're gonna. By the way, you're never gonna hit 100%.
Would be fantastic. Problem is, it goes back to that paying 2 wide receivers. We don't have the cash unless Brandon Beane was like, okay, I'm gonna give up my number 1 this year, right? For Brandon Ayuk, who's young, I'd be okay with it. And then we sign him to a long-term deal, but his money doesn't kick in for on cap for 2 years. because then Steph's gone and Brandon Ayuk's now the guy who's making 20+ million. I'd be okay with that because Ayuk is a stud.
Oh, he's awesome, bro. No doubt.
EJ Manuel was a bust. Loved him. I also think the coach.
I mean, we definitely can talk bust. Yeah, if we want to go back in time.
Aaron Nabin, top 5, was a huge. Sammy Watson. As much as we gave up for Sammy.
Oh my God, you're right.
He ended up having a good career, but with the Bills, he
just couldn't stay healthy. That was because he had 1,000 yards with us, I believe.
But
he just could not stay healthy.
Traded up to get him when you could have had OBJ or Mike Evans at your normal spot.
Bad, but it happens.
Yeah.
We're not the only team, guys. There's a lot of teams that have bust.
Like Mekhi Becton for the Jets just was let go. He was a top 10 pick,
Mm-hmm.
Like it happens.
Yeah.
You just gotta be careful using the bust word. Like you have to not performing to your expectation and not performing in general is different. Like we want Groot to, be at his ceiling. He's not there yet.
Right.
I wouldn't call him a bust because he's not at his ceiling yet.
I agree with that.
Would you guys move up in the draft for a wide receiver? I wouldn't, Dallas. I would stay at 28 because you need the picks and you need those early picks to build, to plant those seeds. And it's a very deep draft. So if the top 5 go in the before 28. So if Harrison, Neighbors, Odunze, Thomas Jr. and Franklin are all gone, I'm looking at possibly move them back, and then into the second round, and then maybe take the Keon Coleman or AD Mitchell, one of those two if they're there. If not, I'm looking at a different position altogether because then you have that next tier, the Xavier Worthies, the AD Mitchells, the Keon Colemans, the Xavier Leggett's. And then if you want to get into the third round, then you have like the Javon Bakers and the Luke McCaffreys and the Cephuses and there's a million. It's so deep. There's probably about, I think I said this. There's tiers, elite tiers. There's 3. Harrison, Neighbors, and Doomsday are those that consider that elite tier. Then there's that extremely good who could still be a wide receiver 1, just might take some time, and that's that Franklin and Thomas Jr. tier. Then you have those super good starters, and that's the next tier, the Leggett's and the AD Mitchells and Keon Coleman and those guys. And then you have that next tier of those guys that are unknowns. Could be really good, could be really bad. That's the Puka-Nukas like last year. Right? Like he has the talent. He's got to. Does he fit the system? And that's where you get the Javon Bakers and you get the Luke McCaffreys and all those type of guys. So, but there's probably about 20 to 25 receivers in this draft that are going to be drafted that are going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm with Mikey. I don't think you. The only way, if there was somebody that happened to slide for some godly reason,
if they slid, and you're like pick 18, and he's still sitting on the board, you want to package up and get that elite receiver. Then Neighbors. Harrison Jr., which I doubt Harrison Jr. is going.
No, Harrison Jr. is going.
But I'm saying, one of those guys slid to 15, 17, 18.
Then you could start thinking about,
Because now you're getting, top 10 talent in the middle rounds.
Right.
The return on investment is a lot different there.
Absolutely.
But other than that, for the rest of those guys, no, I'm not moving up. There's this. McConkey. See, here's the problem I have with McConkey. McConkey is a slot guy. We have a McConkey in Shakir. We don't need a lad McConkey.
No.
I think I would really good.
I want a bigger receiver. By the way,
Roman Wilson. He fits in that tier I was talking about with Leggett and Dez Walker and all those guys. Roman Wilson. He was fantastic in the Senior Bowl. Problem is he's probably gonna be a slot guy. We have our guys.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We need the AD Mitchells. We need the Troy Franklins. We need the big guy on the outside that fast.
Yeah, I am still curious what happens with Shorter. By the way, I know he's a long shot, Mikey, and I know he's probably going to be special team, but they had high praise for him at the end of the season when he was talked about.
Yep.
So I mean, it was kind of McDermott brung him up at one point, and he gave him a lot of credit. Like, not like McDermott to do, especially on rookies. So I'm very curious if they see something more than what we do, and maybe some potential there down the road. I'm not saying next season, but I am curious how his training camp goes this year. Like, what noise Justin Shorter brings in camp. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he's another guy I would still look out for. He's still a 6'4", a receiver who's raw, still a little raw, but he was a hell of a receiver in high school. Has talent. He just couldn't stay on the field due a lot of injury history. So we'll see what happens with him. So I would still keep an eye on Shorter. He's still on the team.
He's a lotto ticket.
He's a lot. Yeah, it was a late 6th round pick. So
can't win if you don't play.
We'll see. Absolutely.
Billy comes in and says they should go DT from Texas in the 1st round. And what DT? Because you have Byron Murphy, who's a 3 tech, or you have Trajonde Sweat, who's a 1 tech. I would be okay with either of them. I would prefer if one of those top 5 aren't there in the 1st. I already said this earlier in the show. I want us to go Sweat at 28. I would not be mad if we took Sweat with our 1st pick, because he's a difference maker. Could you see us drafting Chop Robinson? I don't see us draft. I love Chop. Chop has two years. Everyone was worried about Chop because he's a little light. He came in a little bit heavier. Chop also has, I heard Aaron Maben comps. The difference was Aaron Maben was a 1-year wonder. Chop has 2 years of proven production. I like Chop. I don't think we would take him at 28. I think if we were to take Chop, we would move down and take him in round 2.
Right.
What's your thoughts on Chop? Because there's Boswell, there's Chop, there's Darius Robinson. Like, there's like 4 Braylon Trice out of Washington. Like, there's 4 defensive ends that may get pushed up. Let's see how they also how they come out of the combine. Like now, I would say they're round 2 guys. After
there's another guy I'm looking, Mikey, at too. I think I sent you a text. James Williams from Miami, safety, 6'5".
I think he's gonna end up moving the linebacker.
Oh, bro,
I really do. I don't think he's too big to play safety.
I know, but he could do. He's a player, bro, and you can get him.
He's probably a 4th, 5th round guy. Yeah, probably a 4th, 5th round guy.
Dude, he's. I'm telling you, I watched a lot of Canes last year, man. He's a player I would be looking out for. If you can get him in around there, I think he would be a hell of an addition.
Are you still going to the draft?
Fuck yeah! Why not? It's free. I'm gonna go. Oh, by the way, sorry to cut you off, but what's his name? Trevor is flying down with his dad. You know, Trevor and Juan.
Yeah.
So Trevor's coming down with his dad to go to the draft. They went to last year's draft. I forget where it was. But they're going to this year's draft in Detroit. So I'm gonna meet up with them. But I'm gonna go live with you. Obviously, we're gonna do live.
How are you gonna come live with me too? So because
I'm gonna try my best, but obviously it's choppy. Exactly. You guys keep going.
How are you gonna come live with me for day 1?
That's when it is. Day 1. I'm not gonna be on day 2. I'm gonna be on day 1, and I'll do my best.
For day 1, as Tommy called in throughout.
Exactly. I'll stay on as good as I can. Yeah.
It's great, but I also don't want you to stay on a bunch. I want you to enjoy the draft as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to do like the pre-stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
Walking around a little bit, and then actually when I get
the draft starts, I want you to enjoy the draft, and then just call in periodically as me and Howie will run.
I hope I'm not calling mad. Motherfucker. What kind of bullshit pick is this?
I'll say, Tommy, bad connection, buddy.
Yeah. We traded out on the first. That's okay. I know, but then I would be there for nothing. I'll still have a good time, but
you will have a great time. Listen, enjoy the draft, brother. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on tap for the night?
No, man. Oh, it's been a while, man. We appreciate you guys, all that showed up tonight, man. Sorry, it's been a while.
Tagged Higgins.
Smart, man. I think he's a hell of a player.
That's a lot of money because that's top 5 money.
That means they want him. They're trying to figure out the contract. They're going to sign him. They tagged him.
I don't know. I don't know if they can sign him because then next year he's going to be a free agent and Chase is going to be a free agent.
Yeah,
and
but maybe
Burrow's money kicks in.
That's true. Well, still, you don't just tag. Man, I wonder why they tagged him.
Tagged him for one more year. Run with him. Like maybe the Giants just tagged.
See what they could do with it. It's true. Yeah. See what they could do with him one more year. That's true.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Burrow coming back, giving that team one more.
Right. See one more roll. Yeah. One more go around with Higgins there. That's true. But no, man.
They don't have it next year.
I don't know if are we coming back next Friday or it depends on what happens.
Back. I'm back.
Okay, cool. So we'll be back next Friday, 8:30, guys. Nothing's changed. Damn.
21.8. Woo.
Hey man, so they're going for it. It is. Sometimes you gotta go for it.
Get your money, brother.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll be back next week, 8:30. Appreciate all y'all, man. Because this was kind of last minute. I told Mikey, I think it was a Thursday. I'm like, you want to go live?
I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go live. I was itching to get back.
Let's do it. So man, we're back. I don't know about Mikey yet. Mikey he's on the fence with it, but we are going to be doing videos of draft profile. So I did one of Keon Coleman. I'll be doing one of Brian Thomas soon. Maybe Mikey might do them, maybe not. But we'll do our mock drafts. I know Mikey did those last year. He enjoyed that. We'll have those coming up, the mock drafts, Mikey. And then we'll do a live mock draft. Remember, we did that last year where we get you guys involved. That was fun. So we're going to be doing a lot of cool different things, off-season stuff for you. And by the way, we still got our Wednesday guys. Man, Mikey, our Wednesday guys are kicking ass, by the way. The views, awesome. You guys are, bro, you guys are loving them. So Mafia Talk is really, really fitting into this channel. So I appreciate you guys showing them the love and support as well. Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast are going strong. That's every Tuesday at 7:30. Once again, appreciate you guys giving them the opportunity as well. And then we'll be back Mondays once preseason kicks around. Just a heads up there too. So Mondays are still good. Just taking a little break on Mondays for now. But Fridays we'll be back every Friday at 8:30.
We don't normally do Monday shows during the off season.
Yeah, no. But we'll be doing, like I said, look out for draft profile videos, look out for mock draft videos, and then we'll, leading up to the draft, we're going to be doing these, just like last year, our mock live drafts with you guys. So that'll be fun. So appreciate all of y'all. Mikey, any last words other than that, man?
Happy to be back. It's off season time, guys. The disappointment of last season, let it wash over you. Let's look forward to the build for 2025.
Yep. All right, guys. So we're out of here, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Once again, Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. Peace. Okay.